Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. And if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. What's up there, coach?
What's happening, brother?
Not a nada, man. Not a nada. Sooner in Texas, you can say it, but you don't get away with it. I promise you that. You get one of these. There you go.
So are you seeing my video, Jason? Because it's not showing on my screen.
I got you.
Okay.
We'll check and see what it looks like on the actual feed. Yeah, you're up.
Okay.
You're there.
Because
You're there.
on mine it says I'm offline.
Huh.
Which I don't give a damn. I don't need to see myself anyway.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's at least you don't have to. You know,
That's right.
We can all see.
Poor everybody else.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Good to see everybody in here. Scott Walker, Sooner in Texas. Eric Reheard, Kimberly K, Sooner in Texas. Logan Litke, what's up? What's up? What's up? Good to see everybody in here. Make sure you wipe your feet as you come in. There's my mama. Hey, Ma, what's going on?
All right, Miss Cindy.
Yeah, I've just been I was just telling Coach here, I've been going back and forth with everybody's favorite Sooner hater, Brandon Walker. Boy, that dude's a sensitive little bitch, isn't he? He's a sensitive little bitch. He talks all kinds of shit, and then he just, he might be as dumb as the outlaw college football. Although obviously people know who he is, but at least he is kind of dumb though. It's just kind of fun. The times you see him. Hey, there we are. Good to see you there, Kimberly K. Yeah, I mean, you see him he was wearing this little Yell leader uniform because he lost some bet with that co-host Casey of his. She's an A&M fan. He might be dumber than her, which is tough, I think. I got to be honest with you. It's tough because, I don't want to say how she got that job, but I'll just tell you it wasn't because of her brains.
I tell you how important is it Brandon Walker?
Yeah, Brandon
Walker. I tell you how important Brandon Walker is in my life. I don't even know who the hell he is.
I know. I mean, it's like, and the weird thing is Ryman Lemon is one that he tagged us in. He was talking shit about Venables on Twitter, and he does this a lot. And they always say it from that little stupid, you've always got that one side. When they start talking that shit, right? And they saddle him up with, this is the same thing the Doomer Surge guys do. They saddle him with Lincoln's, leftover trash that he, trying to burn the program down on the way out and all that bullshit like he did. And then, that 6-6 year, it's all Venables' fault, where not right. Anything to do with what, happened. And then and then they don't ever say anything about what happened this last year. And the 10-2 season was just bullshit, right? It was just bullshit. That didn't matter. So, it is what it is. But yeah, that's the guy. Well, if you noticed, I actually retweeted that, Ryman, and he came back at me, and he's continued to come back at me for the last 2 days. So the last one, he just said, "You might be the dumbest motherfucker I've ever come across." And I was like, struck a nerve, did we? It must have been whenever I told him that, way to go on, milking that Make-A-Wish Foundation thing for the last decade. Maybe that was it. I don't know. You know me, man. I can be awfully petty. I can be awfully petty. But it is what it is. What's up there, Shouty? Shouty.
Come on here, Shouty.
I know, man.
Bring your ass on here.
Watch, I'll send him the invite here. And I bet you he don't show. But I'll send it to him.
Jump on with it, Shouty.
I like old Shouty. I like to hear what we're thinking about the whole Georgia Bulldogs.
All right, Comanche Sooner.
Comanche, what's up, my guy? Ryman says, dude's as smart as a box of rocks and handsome as a sack of crap. Yeah, especially when he was wearing the Yell Eater uniform, bro. Should have, you know, probably one of my favorite movies with Billy Bob Thornton is Sling Blade. He just came
Yeah.
off as one of those dudes in the mental institution, you know, walking around, you know, just
Oh, Jesus.
pacifier in his mouth or some shit, you know.
The visions I'm getting.
It's funny. Yeah. Yeah. I just think it's funny that I struck that nerve. Funny stuff. Johnny Boy, TP, T Boomer, Riley, 2-0 versus the SEC. You need to update that record though, because he ain't 2-0 against the SEC. Just so you know. Says, I'm old enough to remember John Blake. My cousin, who is 28, says to me, I do not know how to deal with this. I just laughed. We have the right guy. Just relax. We do
You
have
know
the right.
what, John Blake? We just hired his son in our recruiting department at Notre Dame.
Hey, John was a hell of an assistant.
Yeah, yeah.
You know who was the defensive coordinator on that football team that he was the head coach of? Rex Ryan. And they were dog shit. It's just that's like one of the worst times of Sooner history, really, as far as like extended periods. And they really didn't have a bunch of bad coaches. They just weren't. It just wasn't coming together for whatever reason. They were trash.
Yeah.
John Blake understood.
Yeah, and I remember
before it became legal. Yeah,
I remember going to a coaching clinic there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Ryan brothers are pretty good at that stuff. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I see that there, Riley. Old Billy Bob as Permian head coach Gary Gaines was pretty darn good too. He was. That was a good one.
Yeah.
He's been pretty good. This Landman series that he's in, he's pretty fucking good in that too, by the way.
Yes, he is.
He's pretty damn good in that.
Yeah.
Coach, we thank you for Chad Bowden.
Absolutely. I'm glad y'all have him.
I wouldn't get too ahead of myself there, Riley, because last year y'all started off like a ball of fire too in that recruiting, and all of a sudden,
well, I tell you what's really interesting about that is, you know, Chad's gone to y'all's place there at USC, and it's really interesting. They are on a ball, you know, they're burning it up. They're doing a good job, but you know, you got to keep them to the end. That's one thing. But number two, I tell you what's really interesting.
Couple of decent coaches on that side of the football too, but
right,
could be helpful.
But what's really interesting to me, Jason, is, and I know nobody probably else keeps up with this, but obviously I do. Notre Dame has kind of drawn a line in the sand, and they have offered, because basically Chad said, we're going to keep our kids in state. We're going to keep them home. And Notre Dame has gone out and offered more kids in the state of California than any other state. So I think in a roundabout way, I think Marcus Freeman is saying to Chad, fuck you. We'll go get those kids and bring them to Notre Dame.
Yeah. Well, they did.
So it's going to prove to be interesting.
They flipped a couple of Oregon guys in the last month or so. One of them was like yesterday or today. So that was actually not too bad. Right. So
no, doing good. I mean, I'm not going to say anything.
Well, and I mean, they got a modern day guy that was the guy that they flipped today. So that's important because they hadn't been keeping those homeboys at home.
No.
You know, and we know as OU fans that was Lincoln's MO at Oklahoma too. He didn't hardly even like pay any attention to the in-state kids for the most part.
No, he didn't.
So, which I would tell you is the reason why you saw Okie Light get good, because they were getting all the best players from in the state without really even being challenged by Oklahoma. You know, Kendall Daniels probably should have been a Sooner long before now, right? He just should have been. But yeah, the Trinity League MVP, Tom. Yep, that's the guy. That's the guy I was talking about. But I'll tell you what, speaking of recruiting, I was just looking through your Notre Dame recruiting, and they're trending for that 6'4" defensive end out of Charlotte area.
Yeah.
5-star kid, stud. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Have you seen this guy's film?
Oh yes,
Jeez.
I have,
Holy shit, man.
and I got a little Woody watching it.
Right.
I
Little
did.
Chubb. Yeah, listen,
Little Chubb.
he's a baller, and then they've been picking up some real studs. So it as we talked about, I was gonna bring that up to you anyway, was here's the difference in Notre Dame now and Notre Dame under Brian Kelly, really, and everybody else that they had in the years leading up to BK was these guys are recruiting on a different level, coach.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's we're definitely recruiting on a different level. I tell you what, I think Marcus has done an incredible job there. I think Chad Bowden did a great job for us
He
while
did.
he was there. Unfortunately, he left and has been bad mouthing Notre Dame, but I don't know what all happened there. So I'm not going to get involved in that piece. But
Yeah.
you're right, Jason, and
Well, it doesn't take
our
much. I mean,
our
it's that's bad blood between those two programs. So if you're for switching from
sure.
one to the other, there's going to be
You
some bad.
kind of you kind of have to talk shit if you leave
Yeah.
one to the other. But we've also picked up another great recruiter in Coach Sider, our new running backs coach that came over from Penn State. Boy, he is a recruiting fool.
Mhm.
And Mike Martin that came over from the NFL and is now our GM.
Yeah.
I think that it helps a lot too, Jason, as we're recruiting these kids because when you can say I came from the NFL and that's where you want to go, and I can help you get there. I think that makes a big difference to kids knowing that you've been there and you can help me
Well, and
guide my
if I'm a
path.
scout that's coming from the NFL, I'm an NFL scout like Jim Nagy with Oklahoma, their new GM.
Absolutely. Yep.
He was in charge of the Senior Bowl. He's been putting guys in the NFL for the last 7 years from the Senior Bowl and the 17, 18 years prior to that
Yep.
as he's on a part of building 4 Super Bowl winners, another
Yep.
2 times in the game itself. I mean, this dude has built dynamic rosters at the highest level for a long time. It's one of the
How can you How can you
discussions we've been
how
having.
can you say as a recruit, Jason, when you're getting recruited highly by those people, it's hard to say a lot about, well, maybe I shouldn't go there. I should go here because you as a kid, you want to go play in the league. And these guys already have inroads. The roads are already there. So take them and run with them.
Yeah. What does recruiting matter when with unlimited NIL? Who the fuck has unlimited NIL? I mean, Looney, I understand what you're trying to say. I don't think it's right. I think it's even the teams with even the programs that have the most money, i.e. Notre Dame, they don't just generally, I mean, not all of them are Texas or A&M that they just throw good money after bad, you know? And
Yeah.
when you
No.
and here's where it matters is, and I'll tell you this, with the portal it matters, but you need guys that are going to identify places that it would help.
Yeah.
They're never going to regulate it, bud. And I'll tell you this, the lane that you're headed down, and I can already see it. You want to sit here and blame this shit on players? You're sadly pointing in the wrong direction. They didn't make this fucking mess, man.
They
They
didn't
didn't.
create it. Nope.
They didn't create this shit.
I'm glad they created it though, because the players deserve to be paid.
Damn right they are.
And
Damn right they should.
if you don't like that shit, you don't have to listen to it. You don't even have to be here to listen to it.
Well, listen. No, I'll say it forever until, and I mean, I talked to a parent today that's going through the recruiting process right now, going through some shit. And I told him the same shit. Look, we can sit here and we can talk about the greedy kids if you want to. We can.
Yep.
But where the real greed is coming from, the universities, the presidents, the
It's been there
commissioners,
for
the
years and
conferences,
years
the
and years.
coaches, and the NCAA itself. And for everybody that you talk about with the portal that, well, they're just doing this for money, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, yeah. Don't think for 1 second if they have an opportunity to get somebody that's better than the guy that they're paying right now, that they're not telling that guy to get the hell out.
Well, you know what's interesting to me, Jason, is all these people that talk all this shit about NIL. I guarantee you, if you're doing your job and somebody offers you a lot more to go someplace else to do a job,
I
your ass is gone. Your ass is gone.
I
And you're
mean,
not in a damn portal, but I guarantee you, you're gone. You're going to go make more money. And so, but yet you want to cast stones in a glass house
yeah.
at these kids that,
Well,
and guys, let's face the facts.
think about
There's a
the
lot of
NFL's the same
kids.
way. We get on these players in the NFL's asses all the
Yeah,
time, and
yeah.
they're just pawns for these fucking
It,
owners.
and guys, it's a job, man. It is a job. And you know what? You're gonna most of the time you're gonna go to the place that you can make the most money. Now, I did see a statement in here about Notre Dame's not a big NIL. Hell, how do y'all know that shit? You don't even know the money that they put out there. You
Yeah,
know,
I don't think that I
being a
don't
private institution, you don't have a frigging clue
exactly.
about what we do with money, how much money we have, but yet you want to say though, make those kind of asinine statements.
I think the statement was more or less alluding to that you guys haven't just been willy nilly with your cash. Uh,
But
you
how do
know,
we know?
well, I,
We don't know.
I think, but I think where we're headed. I think what he was saying, and this is what I think. Shawty's talked about this a lot when it comes to UGA. We've talked about it a lot with Oklahoma. They're not just writing blank checks to whoever the fuck. They're it's not a big wide ass net that you're throwing out there in recruiting. You're trying to get people that fit what you're trying to do, right?
Sure.
And so and that because I mean there's I think that a lot of times you forget this, but you recruit your own problems. You
Oh, yes,
recruit
you
your own
do.
problems.
Yes, you do. And
Yeah.
you got to be careful about that. I mean, you really do got to be careful. And again, I think that's where Marcus Freeman and his staff do a great job of bringing in people that buy into Notre Dame because Notre Dame is different.
Yep.
But I don't care what school you're at. You need to be careful that you don't bring in more problems than what you need to have on your program.
Mm.
Shotty, get your ass in here and let's talk about some of this. You would give some great input here instead of just shit talking over here on the board here. Come on, bring it on.
Logan Licky says maybe Brian Bosworth was right about the NCAA a long time ago with that T-shirt he wore. Oh, there's no maybe to it.
Oh, amen, brother.
There's no maybe to it. He was fucking right.
Amen, Logan.
He was right, and it's been that way. Listen, a lot of people they talk a lot of shit about SMU, and I'm not a fan of SMU, by the way. But I'll just say that what they were doing back in those, the 80s and stuff when all that shit went down and they got the death penalty, they were thumbing their nose at the hypocrisy of what the NCAA was trying to say. Because they weren't doing anything about anybody else doing it. I mean, we all know as Oklahoma fans what was happening during the 80s. And in OU, and we know that Switzer, Switzer got to a point where he was pretty much doing the same thing.
Sure.
He didn't give a fuck. You know, he almost did it out in the open.
Yeah.
And so, but it's taken this long. And look, I'll say it again too. When the 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 whole deal with the NCAA versus who is it? Ed O'Bannon, the Ed O'Bannon case. That shit was going on for 10 years before the Supreme Court justice told those NCAA folks who were visiting on a totally different matter that if they didn't get their labor practices in line, he was going to eat them alive. So they threw NIL at the problem, hoping that they didn't try to put any guardrails, if you want to call it that, in place, anything like that, because they knew they couldn't. Well, now they want to, and they've made it clear, very clear, that, hey, you can't do anything to minimize the amount of money they can make on their NIL stuff.
Right.
And the one way that it could be fixed, let's just make this clear. You can make them employees, and then you would have the control you think you need to have as a university. They could quit whining and bitching about the control that they don't have over these players' movement. But in order to do that, you have to go ahead and start paying taxes like a business like that. You know?
Yeah.
Well, the House settlement is going to go through. But just understand that don't mean shit. It don't mean shit, because all it means is, okay, yes, now you've got your revenue share is in effect. So if you opt into revenue share and being able to play for the national championships in that, in that whole deal, then you have to pay out $20.5 million to student athletes per year. And you'll notice that now your ticket prices are about to start going up, parking, all that shit. It's all going up. Believe that. Now that they have to pay out their revenue, they're going to raise that revenue. So it is what it is. But that doesn't include your NIL stuff. I know Joe C said that they're working on a way that you can control that. Horseshit. He ain't. They've already made it clear in the courts that there's nothing that they're going to do to mess with the player's right to make money off his own name, image, and likeness. Not going to do it. So it is what it is. Yeah, see, well, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming too, though, TP. The union stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and again, I know that, that you start thinking in NFL, shit, we didn't want the NFL here. Well, you got it. It's what it is now. But again, some of this stuff, though, can be fixed, and it is going to be what it is. But just understand that we're not ever going to see the old days. But we're also not ever going to see a time where it's, it's set up fair and all that other shit. Yeah.
The coaches tell me to.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna answer Logan Litke's question about, he asked Coach, he's just wondering, do you like still being independent, or would you someday like to join a conference? And I'm just gonna say this, Logan. You know what? We're happy right where we are. We don't,
made $100 million last year.
we don't need any more money. I mean, we made 20 million off of the playoffs alone, and that didn't include our TV deal and our deal with Under Armour, and the money we get from the ACC as well for the other sports. So no, it's not. The only way we will go to a conference is if we're forced to go because we can't play for a national title. That'd be the only way.
And that's not even happening. That's not even on the table. It's not on the table. Look, for anybody, you can say what you want, but Notre Dame is the reason that they can do this when nobody else really can is because they're on a different level than other almost every other program in the country. There's an elite few. I mean, I think that yeah, USC could probably do the same thing, being a private institution as well, having the reach that they have throughout the country. Even though I don't know that they still have the same type of reach that Notre Dame has, but it's similar, right? I would say BYU is similar in the fact that, you know, the religion stuff and, you know, you have a lot of members of that church, you know, that
Right.
are all around the world that are absolutely, you know, fans of that program.
And it
There's not
is.
as
It's
many as there are
the
Catholics,
religious piece.
the
Yeah.
religious part.
Right.
But and Notre Dame has got that too. But the other part, Notre Dame is the truest of blue blood football programs. If you're going back all the way to, I mean, our grandfathers were kids and great grandfathers were kids when they were still unbelievably dominant, right?
Yeah.
They've fallen on times that they're not as dominant as they were before, but they've still won in recent enough time, and they're competing that they're going to always stay relevant. You know, and even among non-Catholics, they're pretty damn popular, right?
Moosehead.
What a
Don't get
mess.
coach started on Catholics versus the Protestants.
And Notre Dame is in a class of its own when it comes to cash, as what hey, Marcus got it. You just hit the nail straight on the head there. Their endowment's 20 billion plus. And don't you get like a percentage of that every year for the athletic department? Oh my
Absolutely.
lord.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the other thing too, and I don't know if people realize this, but you know, all of our coaches, like our football coaches, if you go back, they have like a family name attached to their name. I can't remember what, you know, head coach Marcus Freeman, but there's a family name attached to it. Guys, they're paying their salary. It's not the university paying their salary.
Right.
Those people are paying their salaries.
It's like
And
having
that's
a
a lot
bunch
of
it's like having a bunch of T-Boone Pickens out there.
we got lots of
Like
T
50
Boons.
of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Jesus.
you
Talk
know,
about
there's
old
lots
money. Son of a
there's lots of old money, and it's not something that's going to disappear, guys. It's not going to disappear.
yeah. No, and it is. Again, when they have these big meetings about what they're going to do with the playoffs and stuff like that, who do they always involve in the meeting? Notre Dame.
Well, they're always going to have a seat at the table,
They sit
and
in
the
on
re-
all of them. Yeah. Yeah.
and the reason being, guys, is you know when Notre Dame plays in ball games, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to come to those.
Yeah.
They're going to watch the games. I mean, they're good for TV, and you know, it's just as good that the haters watch them as those that love them. So they're going to get great viewing audiences, and so they're going to bring in money when they go to play in bowl games or playoff games. They're going to fill the house up. So they're going to bring money in. So that's why they're always going to have a seat at the table.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No doubt. um, yeah, it is gonna be what it is. It's gonna be what it is. And so, yeah, are they gonna I don't see them ever doing that. And again, the thing I think that that's part of what's cool about Notre Dame football is that they can play their schedule as they want it. And they can play whoever in the country they want from year to year. So they're going to continue having their rivalry games with as long as you know schools like USC don't bitch out. Uh,
Right.
they're going to continue having
Lincoln.
those rivalry games and stuff like that, and they can do that from year to year. But I also think that their flexibility of being able to say, hey, you know, they played Oklahoma for a stretch there for a while. You know what, 10 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They kind of bounce around. You'll see them playing. They played Ohio State for a couple years. They'll play Michigan every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
They'll get another game with Michigan. You know, I would venture to say that as these things continue to evolve, I wouldn't be surprised to see them having some kind of home and home series with an SEC school either. I just
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised, right? And
Yeah.
they've got a scheduling deal with the ACC right now that keeps them playing either Florida State or Clemson pretty much every year.
Absolutely.
So,
You know what?
go ahead.
No, I was going to say I was reading Neilio's little statement here, and I couldn't agree with you more, Neilio. 100%. We do a poor job, and again, talking about being able to fill the seats when they play. Our fans sell their tickets for a ton of money to the opposing teams. So that's one thing that hurts our home games is that we'll sell those tickets away. And if we're playing Stanford, you see a lot of red or shirts in there compared to our green or whatever we're wearing that game. But yeah, I agree.
Hey, JT, don't say dumb stuff like that about why you got to turn it into a religious thing or like a political
Yeah,
statement like that. Don't say dumb shit like that here.
that's why I didn't even touch it.
Don't say shit like that in here. You don't know anything. And do you give any money to, homeless or any of that other kind of shit? How much money you giving out? Don't do stuff like that. Golly, man, people are just. Shawty says we're gonna
I
have
don't
to add
even
an
I
extra
don't
Big
even
Ten
talk to asinine
or
statements.
SEC team moving forward for strength of schedule reasons. Well, you say that, but I don't see that the strength of schedule matters for shit after the teams that I saw in the playoff last season.
Well, we got two SEC teams this year.
Do you? Yeah,
I think so.
A&M
We got
again.
we got A&M and we've got Arkansas.
Oh yeah, I forgot y'all were playing Arkansas this year.
Yeah.
Awesome, I love it.
So I mean, yeah.
I love it.
And
Hey, it's
again,
awesome.
guys, I think every fan you can look at your teams and those schedules are up and down as far as strength of schedules because those things are made at far in advance. Maybe not as far in advance as Mike Gundy would like us to believe, but they are made in advance, and you don't know. We thought FSU was going to be a really good football team this year, and hell, they shut down their leg all season long, so it wasn't one that really helped us at all. But you would have thought they were going to be good, but it's hard to tell on schedule, guys. And I tell you what, I can say this. I don't think Notre Dame will turn down playing anybody. I really don't.
Oh no. I mean, play anyone. It's yeah, man. Hey, shout out to Trap House Booming, man, and he actually sent me a text message just now. But shout out to Big Trap right now. He was down and checking out the scrimmage this past weekend. Got to hang out on the sideline down there. So
Oh
excited for
wow,
him and what he saw. And we're trying to get together with him, do some work and stuff, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. But Big Trap's my man. The guy gets it done. He's putting out some
I love
amazing
it.
content, folks. If you're not over there checking him out, you're probably not an Oklahoma fan. So great stuff. I'm excited to see what he's gonna have coming up. And yeah, man, he's one of the best in the business for sure.
Good
Um,
stuff.
how good should Notre Dame be this upcoming year? Lots of talent went to the league. Yeah, lots of talent stayed too, and they reloaded.
God, I'll be honest with you guys. I believe we're going to have a better football team than we did a year ago.
I think that your quarterback will be able to. I mean, he may not be the runner that Riley Leonard was, but I think he'll be able to throw better no matter who it is.
Well, we don't necessarily need a running quarterback with the stable of running backs that we have.
Right,
If
and
we
I
go,
feel like you're not gonna get those receivers that you want if you don't got a quarterback that can get them the ball either.
right, right. So no, I feel honestly, guys, I was worried about our defensive nose guard and tackles. I thought that was an area of great need, and I just from what I'm seeing through the spring, I think we're going to be fine in there. I was worried about receivers, but we picked up a couple of guys in the portal that are proven commodities with great stats. And so, honestly, I think we're going to be a better football team than we were a year ago.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, and I think that your schedule is doable again, but it's
Yeah.
not that it's. I don't think it's as tough as some, but I think it's tougher than it was a year ago for sure.
Oh, it's definitely tougher than a year ago. And, we our first ball game will
You
be
gotta win
against
all them
Miami.
games. You still gotta win all them games, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But we crank up with Miami, and then we go right into Texas A&M, which I think will be a better ball club than they were a year ago as well. So we our first couple of games will kind of set the tone for us.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. I'm, yeah, I think that they're, look, man, I mean, you figure more times than not, if you can go that same as most everybody else, you hit that 10-2 mark at Notre Dame, you're going to get in the dance. They're good. They've got a
Right,
spot for them.
right. Well, and I tell you what I'm excited about too, Jason, is
Although last year we
with
probably had to be at least 11-1, I would think.
we did, especially after that crazy loss we had. Uh, but I'm excited too about Denbrock in year two.
Me too.
His year two teams have always been much better than they have in his
Jaden
first year.
Daniels won the Heisman too at LSU.
Absolutely. So his second year football teams are always better. So I hope that continues to be the case here.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think, and we could kind of handicap who do some of the teams that you feel like are going to be right back, right there. As far as in the hunt again, I think and we don't have to really. I think that you've got toss ups in like the Big 12 is kind of a toss up league. I
Sure.
think there's 3 or 4 teams that you could see getting out, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's at least probably that many. Although
Sure.
I do think you've probably got 2 favorites in K-State and Arizona State. I think that, with the guys that they brought back, I think that they're my clear favorites. Although you are
And
seeing
BYU.
and BYU as well. I think that BYU needs to get better at quarterback also.
They do.
Um,
They do.
but I do think, yeah, I think BYU's right there. I think Colorado. It depends on on how this quarterback that came in from Liberty
Right.
performs for them. I don't because he's not really a passer the way that and maybe they go with the freshman. I think that's tough. But
Hey,
I do,
Jason,
yeah,
speaking of Colorado, would you like to borrow some money from Deion?
I would. Yeah, $54 million contract, 5 year extension. He's one of the few coaches in the country now in the $10 million club. 10 million a year deal. So hey, shout out to Dion, man. He's just keeps on proving people wrong.
Yep, absolutely.
Just keeps on proving people
Keep
wrong.
keep on keeping on, Deion.
Yep. Baylor might be decent this year. I would agree with that. Neither you out of here? Got a bunch of nasty storms brewing up. Oh no. In central northeast Kansas. Yeah, listen. If you're in the path of this, and this is that time of year right now, if you're in the path of those damn crazy ass, storms in those areas, Tornado Alley, I'm gonna keep on praying for everybody. We were blowing wind like a mother flicker today again too
Yeah.
here. It's driving me nuts. But listen, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that everybody's safe. Be safe up there tonight, Neilio. As always,
We keep y'all in our prayers.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. And again, but I think that if you kind of, I think looking at the SEC, I think there's a lot. You've got a couple of favorites. I think LSU is definitely the favorite. I think people are making Texas a favorite. I'm not, and you can call it what you want. But if you all you have to do is go through that roster and see how many guys they're losing to the draft. You don't just reload every year. You don't. You just don't.
Nope.
So, um, I think okay, yeah, I misunderstood what somebody was saying to stay safe, so I thought you were leaving, Neilio. But yeah, is Penn State better with their new defensive coach? I don't know if they're better. I don't know that they lose a whole lot either. That's what they do at Penn State is play defense. The question is, does Kotelnicki's offense get better and Drew Aller get a little better? But they still don't seem to be able to add that playmaking receiver at Penn State. And I don't think that you're going to win without that guy. And that tight end that they used in place of that playmaker receiver, he gone. I mean, should they still get out of the Big Ten? Probably. Probably. But yeah, I don't know, man. Penn State's got to prove it to me that they're worth a shit. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
that they can do something outside of the Big Ten before I believe that they can do something outside the Big Ten.
You know, I just wasn't impressed with Drew Aller when we played him. He didn't do much for me.
I think you look at him, he's got all the physical tools, right? He can throw the ball
Sure.
well.
Yeah.
His size is good. Again, he ought to be a little better, though, it feels like, at just kind of leading.
He choked down the stretch.
He did.
He completely choked.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know, man. I just think that they've maybe in year 2 under Kotelnicki, they're a little better. They still got that two-headed monster at running back. They didn't really lose that.
Yeah. And I tell you what, they are good. I'm telling you,
Defensively, they're always good.
they have two really good running backs.
Yeah, they do.
I mean,
They both had 1,000
I'll
yards.
be honest with you. I don't know why the hell they didn't run them more against us because we weren't doing a great job of stopping them.
Well,
We
Licky
were
says
not.
Penn State is Texas of the North. They'll never get it done.
Probably pretty true there.
I don't think he's wrong. I don't think he's wrong. But puts ice cream on my pizza. What's wrong with that? What's wrong? I mean, I don't, but I don't.
That's kind of gross.
It's a little weird, but yeah. I don't miss you more. I know I haven't been here. Huh? Wait, what? Huh? You've been here. Let's see. Odd things. But anyway, I tend to wonder about Ohio State because, I mean, again, does this mean that they're not going to get out of the Big Ten? Probably not, right? But they're replacing quarterback, both running backs. I mean, they still got Jeremiah Smith coming back. I could throw the ball to that guy. Shit.
Hell, I could too.
Son of a bitch.
Hell, my grandson could throw it to him.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're probably still going to be right up there. I think you're going to find out a little bit about them in that week 1 game against Texas. I think you're going to find out a lot about Texas too, because
out of both of them.
Make no mistake, Texas is starting 4 out of 5 offensive linemen, a new quarterback. They've got an entire new secondary, pretty much. Or well, their best players in the secondary. The guy that won the Thorpe Award, and then the Clemson kid. What's his name? Anyway, Makuba. Those guys are both gone. 14 guys they got going into the draft after 11 the year before.
It's going to be interesting.
Is probably better than yours. I'm just going to say I think that Arch is probably better than yours, but I don't know. I don't know that equates to them going out there and him winning the Heisman this year and them winning the fucking national championship, even though they're playing the damn kiddie schedule.
Yeah.
It does. I still feel like they've got some trappy games that are going to be. You got to go to the swamp the week before the Red River if you're Texas.
I love it.
Right? And they're going to be better this year. I think they probably have, if anybody's got a better defensive line in the SEC, it'd probably be us in Georgia.
Yeah. I would agree. I'd agree.
Well, I think they're a different team this year. I also think, I mean, you never know. They are at home against A&M. They're at home against Arkansas too. But those are games that could get you hurt, right?
They are.
I don't know about Vandy on the road because they beat Vandy there last year, so that was. But I see them losing to Georgia again. I think Oklahoma. It goes the bye week after Auburn, Kent State, Texas for OU. They're going bye week, swamp, Oklahoma. So that gives Oklahoma an advantage. No two ways around it. Plus hey, look, I think Oklahoma is gonna surprise a lot of people just in view of the fact that a lot of the games that OU plays this year is against brand new quarterbacks, and Brent Venables has a way of feasting on new quarterbacks. So we'll see.
Yeah.
You still got to go do it. You still got to go do it. But
Absolutely.
I think that
Absolutely.
I believe wholeheartedly that Texas has a better. I think they're more likely to miss the playoff than win the Natty.
I would agree.
There it is. Let's see. See what else got in here.
You know what, Georgia? Georgia. I expect Georgia to be back with a vengeance this year.
Georgia back with a oh yeah. I mean, I think the question would be, is this quarterback that dude?
Gunner Stockton.
Gunner Stockton. I like him though. I think he looks okay.
Yeah, he didn't. I know when we played against him, he's not a bad little quarterback. I was kind of impressed with him.
I think he's pretty good, man. I think he's pretty good. He has his moments, but again, too, I mean, it's one thing to get ready for one fucking game in a playoff setting, too. And I didn't feel like he lost it for him or
No,
anything like that.
no, I don't feel like he was the reason they lost.
And
No way.
hell, you look at the SEC championship game, Texas couldn't get him. They had
No,
a whole half to win that fucking game without the starter in for Georgia and
they
didn't get it
did.
done.
They
So
did.
it's
What
one
are
of the
y'all's thoughts on Alabama?
look, I know that I'll let you say your thoughts on Bama first because I gotta tell you, we're gonna argue about this one.
Oh, I'm not going to argue.
No, I mean
I'm just going to tell
we
you.
differ here. We
Yeah,
differ here for sure.
yeah, we do differ, and my whole take on it is the proof's in the pudding. You're gonna have to show it, prove it up. I know that they're still very very talented football team in Alabama, but I still want to see that the culture takes off the way it needs to because
As
I'm
far
not
as
sure.
how do you mean by
I'm
that,
not.
coach?
And I just mean I think the new way of doing business at Alabama from a head coaching perspective is kind of what I mean because and I think the players that were there and their buy-in uh, to Saban and the new guy does things. The board does things a little bit differently, and that's okay.
They certainly do
There's
things
more.
differently.
There's more ways than one to get from point A to point B. I just think there's still obstacles that the board is having to work through
Yeah.
to be as successful as they need to be. So I'm still not sold on the Crimson Tide like you are.
Well, I don't know that I'm completely sold that I'm not telling you they're gonna go out and win the Natty, right? I mean,
Right, right. No, I
but
got you.
I definitely think that they're contenders to go out and win the Natty, and here's why. The second year everywhere Kalen DeBoer has been, he's been fantastic. I think his second year at Fresno, he lost one. His second year at Washington, he lost one. It was the national championship game. Now, and I think that the biggest piece that what I like the most is because I think that as much as their defense was struggling with learning, they played a lot of zone. Nick Saban never played zone. Never. So that was way different for them. By the end of the season, though, the defense was definitely holding its weight, right? And they have tons of talent there, by the way. They have tons of talent. Do I think that Womack is and do I think that that is going to always work there? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I do think this Ryan Grubb going back to that program, being the play caller. He's been with Kalen DeBoer for a long time. He stuck around the Washington area and was coaching with the Seahawks. He only lasted that 1 year, but he had a first-year play caller calling plays, which I was surprised that he never took that over. Their uneven play calling against Oklahoma was glaring. And once something didn't work, he wasn't an adjustment type. Not only that, as much as I like Jalen Milroe, as far as athleticism was concerned, he's not a thrower. Right. And so when you took away his ability to beat you with his legs, you took away their whole offense. Everybody who's in the running for this quarterback job right now, and that includes, they've got Ty Simpson, they've got this Austin Mack kid, and then Keelan Russell that's coming in from Deville, right? Keelan's a stud, and he's right in the middle of this thing, and all three of those cats can spin it, man. And they've got two really good running backs. They didn't use them very much last year. I suspect they use more of them, right? And I also think that you've got, look, Ryan Williams is, number 2 in the country receiver-wise, in my opinion, only behind Jeremiah.
Oh, and they have that other kid, that other receiver kid that's pretty damn good. Is it Bernard or Barnard or
Bernard? Yes.
something?
And look, dude, they're one thing you got to remember too is that who's got a better roster than they do? No. I think if you were going to say anybody, it would be probably Ohio State, maybe Georgia. They're going to be right there in that neighborhood, So to me, I think that they're a little better. I think that they need to be better, though. I think that you can't afford to go 9-3 a second year in a row, or they'll start working on getting his ass out of there.
And I agree, and that's where I'm at. I just hadn't.
And I do I think there's a lot of pressure there. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with it as a coach? It's a different type of situation. That it's not his home area. He's not from that area.
There's a ghost in the hallways.
That's the other part. Not even a ghost. The fucker lives. He's still there.
There's a ghost in the locker room, and he, like you said, not really a ghost because he's right down the damn hall. And guys, that can, and you said this earlier, Jason. You said, his second year everywhere he's won, but it hasn't. His second year hadn't been at Alabama following one of the greatest coaches in college football.
Yeah, that's a tough act to follow, man.
And Shoddy, I agree with you 100%. Everything you put there, I've been saying for months and months.
But here's what we'll find out. There's been people that have been, I believe he's one of the better coaches in the country. If he can flip it around here, he's damn sure going to show that, right? He's damn sure going to show that. Now,
you're going to think I'm crazy.
Does what he does work at Alabama is the question. I don't know.
That's the question. And I'm going to say this again, and I'm probably going to be 100% wrong, and I'll have to eat a spoonful of shit for this statement. I don't think DeBoer gets it done. I think it's the guy that follows DeBoer that gets it done.
Which is who? Who do you think that guy is?
Whoever it might be. I don't know. I don't even have a name or thought. But I'm just saying the monkey will be off the back of the next guy coming in.
Sure. Sure. Shout out to Bucky's, Neilio. Shout out to Bucky's. Um, and yes, it is a Bucky's tumbler. Excuse me.
Bucky's.
Shout
We
out,
love
shout out
Bucky's.
to old Bucky's. Yeah, man. Look, I I just feel like with that level of talent, with that amount of talent in the room, and a coach that has shown you that he can take lesser talent than this and get it to play at the highest level. Um, particularly, and he's one of those guys that you should be able to get the offense in order. What do? I
Sure.
think that I think that there's great defenses in the SEC. I don't know that there's a bunch of them that are as strong as what you've seen in the past in the SEC. You know what I'm saying? Like week in and week out stuff. LSU's still struggling a little bit in the defensive side. Um, I think Ole Miss is they lost pretty much all of it that they had last year. Texas has lost a lot of what they had. And now you still got guys out there believing that they're still going to be just humming right along on defense. I don't. But it may look like that because again, they do get that stupid schedule, you know, the little kiddie schedule for a second year. But in the end, I think it's a lot of that. Those numbers don't really mean a lot to me. They just don't. On top of the fact that a lot of those teams that they play aren't going to be the better offenses that they're playing that are in the SEC either. So Texas is a little iffy. Could LSU be better? Probably. I think that Texas A&M is going to have a damn good defense. That's what Mike Elko does.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's what he does. I think that the defense at Tennessee, it's still fairly strong. They lost some of those guys in the front line. They didn't lose them all. But we'll have to wait and see. They also have one of the better coordinators in the conference as well. So I like them. I don't trust or believe in South Carolina and Beamer. I don't. And I know that they lost a lot up front. They lost a lot of those guys up front. They lost one of the defensive ends, and they lost like 4 of the guys that were from the interior. I think they're in deep shit. Plus, Beamer's just full of shit too. You know what I mean? He's just full of shit.
I agree. I'm not a Beamer fan.
The guy that follows has less pressure.
Exactly what I mean, Shotty.
You're not wrong there. And I think you could see it being a guy like, let's say if Texas isn't going to take that next step, and I don't know that they are, but I think that they wanted Sark. I don't think that he was really ready to leave just yet. I don't think he wanted to be the guy that followed Saban. I don't think he did. I could see him being the guy that follows that guy though.
Yeah.
And because make no mistake, if you don't take that next step this year, they're going to start ratcheting up the pressure down in Austin.
Yep. Oh, there ain't no doubt. Ain't
You
no
got the
doubt.
number 1 recruiting class in the country. You got Arch fucking Manning, and you're not making the playoff this year. The pressure will ratchet up.
Yep. Agreed.
Lose
hey, Jason, I tell you another team that I think could be on the edge of doing some good things, and that's our old good Fighting Illini. I think they've got a chance to make a little noise this next season.
Who's that?
Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
I think they got a chance to make some noise.
Yeah, look. See, that's what I'm saying, Chrissy. I think that they like to pass the ball in that offense, and they got the right guy calling plays too. That being said, they're going to have to be able to pound the ball, but you've got to have a more accurate quarterback than what Milroe was ever going to be.
Oh, 100%.
You've got to, because they're going to take away one thing from you, and that's all you really had to do. It was, Vanderbilt put the blueprint out there. Oklahoma used it as well. Same with Tennessee. That's how they got beat all 3 games. And during the regular season anyway. No, I agree with you. Oh, look at there. You came in and said something not dumb there, Chrissy. Attaboy.
Attaboy, Chris E.
Beamer and Muleshit are only two former OU coaches I'm not fond of. Yeah, and I don't even hate Beamer in the sense of like Lincoln. He's not Lincoln to me. Of course, he was one of the Lincoln's guys, but it's not like that. I just think he's a clown. I just think he's too clownish. And when you lose and you're clownish, it's just like, bro, that's enough.
I think he's just ridden the coattails of his daddy. Just my
I do
opinion.
too. Yeah, no, I think he did. I think he did. You know, somebody made the. I think it wasn't it Trammell last year that made the comment that they were going to try to fire Venables and they wanted to hire Shane Beamer. Oh my god! I'd probably have to jump off the bridge.
Yeah, you might have to convert to Catholicism.
I've already done that.
Well, you can come
But
over.
here's the thing: he didn't necessarily leave on bad terms, and he'll say nice things, but he will do this kind of shit right there. He makes these little fucking comments about Oklahoma, and he'll say the place that I was at before, and you know they're a blue blood program, and blah 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 blah, but he'll never say the word Oklahoma. But he will make that little smart ass comment and then kiss your ass the week before he plays you. And they were rubbing it in a little bit towards that game. So it is what I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Beamer. And I just don't think he's a very good coach. What?
What?
You can't handle it? What are you talking about? Did I string a bunch of them together? I did not. Oh, that's just joined. I bet they're talking about Beamer. Yeah. Yeah. It was the first time I complimented you. You sure? May have been the first time you said anything smart. So okay. Yep. I'm sorry, man. Just messing with you. All right. What I'm scared for Texas is the pressure they put on Arch. I hope he succeeds. I don't know that I'm very worried about Arch Manning. I think he's going to be fine. I don't know that he's going to be. First of all, none of the Mannings have won anything in college. They haven't. And being who he is, he's going to be in the NFL either way. But I think he's in a good situation for him because Sark will work well with him. But I do think that the expectations are high. Where's Drew's comment? All right, let me see it. Mullet Mike would be a good fit at Bama. Is that the one? Are you shitting me?
That's hilarious.
Hey, listen. If they hired Mike Gundy, I'd feel pretty damn good because I know Oklahoma's going to kick their fucking ass every year that they play them. They're stringing together some curse words. Yeah, I don't know. I think Arch is going to be fine. But I don't know that that's what it is. I don't think that you can't also be. I think that they're going to have to be as good as they act like they are defensively in order for them to really go and take that step and win a national championship. Make no mistake, where they came from at SC with him and Lane working with Carroll, obviously, and I mean they were working under what was that OC's name? I had it the other day. Anyway, they weren't even the coordinators; they were offensive coaches, but. Make no mistake, as good as they were offensively, and they were fucking good, their defenses were unbelievable at SC during that run. Unbelievable. Guys like Troy Polamalu and shit. You know what I mean? They were unfucking. You weren't scoring on them. You weren't going to do it. So, and the same holds true for Bama most of the time. As good as they may be on offense, and they've been good, their defense carries the way. And you have to have a team that can run the ball and stop the run and play really good defense. And I don't know that they're I think we'll find out what they really are as a team under Sark in his first year with a real schedule in the SEC, which won't be till 26 when they flip everything around. We'll see, though. Can Gundy coach without a mullet? No. I don't think he can coach with one.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Yep. I'm telling you, it's getting a little sketchy around there for him, though.
Good.
Motherfucker was
So
he was
so
really
what was
trying
going
to
on?
redo the fucking. He wants to bring Bedlam back for a spring game, though. Not live. Thud up.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, he's happy he wouldn't have to count that on his win-loss record.
Yeah. He ain't doing shit. He
He's
ain't
an
doing shit.
idiot.
But he's in trouble, man. He's in trouble. I don't know. I don't think I told you either, but we found out some stuff about him from somebody one night, and I can't say anything about it here because they'll know who said it.
Well, you're gonna have to
When it
tell
comes
me
out,
when we get off.
oh Lord, you guys are gonna know what I'm fucking talking about.
Well, I knew there
Earth
was
shattering shit.
I knew there was some strong smoke coming out of there. I just didn't know what it was.
Well, the other thing is they've got about a year and a half until the governor of Oklahoma is out of the governorship. His plan is to become president at Oklahoma State, and job one for him is to fire Mike Gundy, unless miraculously he's won a national championship or something like that. So his ass is gone.
Hey, how about let's just let him try to win a conference championship in the Big 12?
How about win a game in the fucking Big 12? He went 0-9.
Amen.
All that shit they were talking about once Texas and OU are gone, we're going to dominate that conference.
They did dominate it. They were just
was
on the opposite end of the
It was shit.
domination.
It was a shit show. And guess what? They had, remember Cody Light say, we got 20 or 22 guys coming back. Fuck out. Yeah, he wants a pussified Bedlam spring game, doesn't want a regular season game. It's such a joke. Yeah, because he doesn't want skin in the game. He doesn't want that record looking. It's 4-15 now. It can only get worse.
Hey, Greg, I actually didn't coach at Perryton.
That's
I
where he
played
grew up.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up there and played there. I graduated in '78, which obviously is many moons ago. But yeah, I played there with a high school All American by the name of Brad Beck.
And hey, Coach, one more time, I just wanted to tell you sorry about your brother. You know,
Thank
know
you,
that's been
Jason.
a tough week or so for you, and we've been praying for you.
It's
That.
been tough. It's been tough, but you know what? We all go through those kinds of things, and you just got to hang on to your faith and you strong belief in God, and it carries you through those things. But thank you for that.
So we're talking about more than Gundy and his affinity for sheep. Yeah. He got headbutted by a cow last year, according to him. I don't know if I believe that one either.
Tuberville got elected to the Senate. Yeah, I knew he'd gotten elected. I was wondering if he might bitch slap any of the representatives or senators like he did his coach on the sidelines at Texas Tech.
Yeah, Chrissy, I'll tell you that I think their line wasn't as good as they acted like it was for sure, but they were all coming back from the year before that. So it's the one thing I would say about that is I think it had as much to do with Ollie too as anything. I think that he started believing in the press clippings a little more than he should have. And I think the DUI affected that kid. So, Yep. Everybody's throwing in their prayers. Thank you guys. Appreciate that for him. Let's see. I know who Brad Beck is. He went to Texas. I graduated in 96. Ranger Pride never dies.
All right. RPDND. Ranger Pride never dies, baby.
Hey man, and you know whenever you know something like that, because in Artesia it's always great to be a Bulldog.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Perryton won a lot of football games.
Yeah. I remember you talking with y'all were pretty damn good, weren't you?
Well, from the time my class started in the 7th grade until I graduated my senior year, we had only lost from 7th grade through 12th grade. We had lost 4 football games, and they were all in the playoffs.
Deep in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. No, I missed that, Ganja. What did he say? It's always good when it comes from Mac. D-Mac's always got some. He doesn't mix words. I'll tell you that. I love that shit. It's kind of like our channel. We just fucking say whatever we want.
Amen, brother.
Just say whatever we want.
Keep it real, baby. Keep it real.
Yeah. Just like
And you know what? If you like it, great. If you don't like it, we don't give a shit. You know what, guys? In a nice way, fuck y'all. We don't give a shit.
At all.
I found that offensive, sir.
Found that offensive, sir.
You've got a dirty, whorish mouth. That's what you have.
Oh, I love it. I love this. I love doing this, guys.
So do I, dude. It's too much fun. That freak show defensive tackle at Texas in the 80s, dude was like 16. I think his last name was Hackenmack. I think he was an alien. Does that rings a bell, but I don't, man. That was like the late 80s, you think, Neilio?
I don't remember.
Seems like I remember something like that. I remember my pops probably said something crazy like, "Who the fuck?" He basically said they need to shut their broke ass up. We'd never split the gate with them, and they'd try to hurt our guys on purpose. So no. And you know what? And that's what I was thinking. I mean, look, if we're gonna go out there and play, it needs to be for something. You need to put that on the line, and we're not gonna go fucking because half speed and stuff bullshit gets you hurt anyways. And there's no way you would get them to thud up. They're gonna end up fucking trying to kill each other, and they would take cheap shots. You know damn well they would. Fuck all that. No. In Artesia, there's only a few tumbleweeds and 2 other guys to know. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's not huge.
You know what, Jason? Again, hell, I jump all over the place, but I saw a podcast. I'm trying to think of who it was. Coach Venables was visiting with, but it sure was. And you know what? If you haven't watched it, guys,
what a fucking
you need
interview!
To go watch it. He did a fantastic job.
He did,
and it told you a lot about who he is and what his expectations are, not only of OU football.
He doesn't shy away from that shit, right?
No. And y'all need to go listen to it, please, because it's the man I know and love, because I do. I love Coach Venables, and I still believe he's going to get it done at OU.
You know who the only guy that got fucking personal time with Coach V at Big 12 Media Days, his last Big 12 Media Days? Just Coach. That's it. That shit was fucking hilarious. The only guy that did. Fucking great.
Just because he recruited our kids so hard, man.
Well, and I mean, I love the story you were talking about. You guys, whiteboarding it and shit out there.
Yeah.
He'd stay there for hours after he'd come in to see your kids or whatever, and then next thing you know, you're having to take him to dinner and stuff because He missed
Yeah.
his next appointment or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Good stuff.
hang out with.
Yeah.
I think I was watching that last night too, and I would just say that I think it is why people at Oklahoma love him. And I think even people that don't love him as a coach love him for that. You never really hear him say bad things about his person because you really can't. And it's hard to do. You can talk shit, I guess, if you want to about who he is as a coach because of where they are right now, or in what 2 out of 3 years, yeah, they went 6-6. Okay, fine.
Hey, Jason,
But the truth of it is
what would he be doing if he was in the Big 12?
I don't know that if you lost that many fucking players as you lost last year, that you would have done any better.
Yeah, he would have. In the Big 12, he'd have been kicking the shit out of everybody.
They didn't have a good line. They had a terrible game plan, and they didn't have a receiver that had any experience that you could rely on.
I don't care. He'd have still been winning.
Yeah.
In the Big 12, he wins.
Look, they went 6-6 in the SEC, so maybe.
Thank you.
Yeah. But
in the Big 12,
again,
he wins.
I think that, look, I still think that if you go back and look at these games, and God knows I don't want to watch them, but I've watched some. You go back to the Missouri game. They should have won that anyway. With a terrible game plan, they still should have won it. Jackson pissed it down his leg. The Tennessee game, they were in position to take that game over in the first half, and he pissed it down his leg with 2 fumbles that came right a play after you would turn them over in plus territory. You turn it over.
Guys, y'all beat the shit out of a good Alabama team.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, we can agree to disagree, but Alabama should have been in the playoffs.
Yeah. Listen,
and y'all beat the shit out of them. Y'all beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. Look, and I mean, if you think about you were ahead in the first half of the Ole Miss game, that's on the road. You lost your left tackle. It overwhelmed them. And again, I say it overwhelmed Jackson Arnold. I don't know that it overwhelms anybody else, but it did overwhelm Jackson. And they got beat in the second half by 10. Look, it is what it is, but they were winning that game. There's no excuse for losing the Mizzou game. None. The Texas game, you held Texas to like 16 yards in the first quarter and didn't put any points up. And next thing you know, it's over with. I mean, eventually you give them that many more. You had 9 straight 3-and-outs in that game. You have 9 straight 3-and-outs in any football game, it's going to get out of hand. It's going to get out of hand. It is what it is. But could they have gotten to – they still should have gotten – there's 4 games. You can't say they shouldn't have beat Navy. They should have beat fucking Navy. You can't say that they shouldn't have won the Mizzou game. They should have won it. They could have won the Tennessee game. And truth be told, they could have won Ole Miss and really, I still think after that initial 5 minutes where they got down 21-0 against South Carolina, they dominated the possession, the time. I mean, they stopped trying to chip with fucking Bauer Sharp, or actually just block with Bauer Sharp on All-American edge guys after that, and they weren't really doing anything else. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm shout out to South Carolina for fucking winning. But the point being is, out of those 4 or 5 games we're talking about, you just win 2. That's still 8-4.
I'm telling you, BV is going to get it done. Just hide and watch. He's going to get it done.
I actually think that this NIL era and transfer portal era is probably a blessing in disguise for Brent, because they owe him too much fucking money to pull the plug prematurely. And that's a blessing for Oklahoma, by the way, too. Because if you pull the plug too early here before he gets his feet under him, you're fucked. JT, I'm not telling you that I'm not doing the whole I don't believe in freaking bullshit wins.
Coulda,
I
shoulda,
don't.
woulda. Yeah.
The coulda, shoulda, woulda. I get what you're. I'm just telling you, would it have surprised you if they'd have pulled out 2 of those other 5 games, which they probably should have, right? Okay. All I'm telling you is that's with the worst offense I've ever fucking seen at Oklahoma. 6. Tell me, name one program in the country that would have dealt with 6, your top 6 receivers going down, and 11 or 12 different offensive line combinations throughout the season. Tell me anybody that would have done better, because I struggle to see it. Not in the SEC, for fuck's sake. With that schedule, by the way. All I'm saying is it's not as bad as you think when you factor in some of that stuff, that defense was that fucking good that they kept them in all those games. Would you have blamed them if they got blown out of all of them? No, because you didn't. The defense, I think, would have been even better statistically had they not have. I think they were trying to go out and win the game for you and score points from the defensive side of the ball, because that's how little belief they had in the other side. JT, you're starting to irritate me, bro. You starting 1-year contracts, huh? Okay.
Yeah, JT, dude.
There's no way
I'm just curious, JT. What do you do
you've been
for
drinking.
living?
You've been drinking.
Post that up there for me, JT. What do you do for a living? I'm just curious.
I think he's been smoking on whatever ganja.
Probably a damn
the best
probably a
what
damn,
ganja has.
Probably a damn attorney.
Yeah. When all was said and done, 9 starters on the offense were injured and lost at least part of the season. That's correct.
And guys, you know, and that's good. But hell, other teams have that shit too, guys.
Coach, not that many of the at the same time.
You need to go
and go out and win though.
I go look at Notre Dame's injuries this season.
Coach, you had a lot of injuries. I think they caught up to you in the last game, the last couple of games.
But I'm saying it. You can say that, but hell, guys, that's part of the game. I mean, unfortunately, it's for all of us. You know, injuries do kick your ass. I don't disagree, but when you start using it, it sounds like a.
I mean, I think Oklahoma was trying to throw it away for a while. You can say whatever you want. All I'm getting at is, here you go. Chrissy has to make up for that smart comment a minute ago. Mr. Penn State fan. Look, all I'm telling you is I'm not telling you that they're going to go out there and win the Natty this year. I'm not talking crazy like that. I'm telling you, don't be surprised when they go out there and surprise some football teams this year and put points on the board. They've got an actual quarterback that can play. That's been in this offense. He knows what he's doing in it. They've got some dudes at receiver. The line looks a lot better, and these are the issues that you had. And here's the beauty of it. They don't have to go out there and be – I think they can go out there and be Penn State on offense, which is pretty shitty, and still go a long ways. Top 30, top 40 in the country. Not top 10, top 30 or 40. You do that, you're going to be competing for the playoff at the end of the year. Now, whether you get there or not, we'll see. I think things are going to have to roll your way. The schedule is that crazy too, by the way. But one of the things that kind of breaks your way is that a lot of new quarterbacks, first year as starter, that are going to go up against Brent Venables' defense. And Brent Venables is definitely coaching that defense like he doesn't have anything else to lose. You're liable to see some wild-ass shit coming at those guys.
JT, who are you referring to as the celebrity coach? Are you talking about? You saying Venables?
I don't even think I don't know. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. I haven't seen you a lot on this show, but Gotta tell
I'm
you,
lost
I'm
on
not in love
this.
with your takes here, bro. They're weird.
We know the players want cash, the cash they deserve. But I'm not. I spell it out for me. This old coach is
Please
a little
do.
slow.
Please
I
do.
need to find out who the celebrity coach is.
Speaking in platitudes and shit like that doesn't really help anybody.
I found that offensive, sir.
Maybe that's why I couldn't win as many games as I wanted to. I was being a celebrity coach.
And that's the format, and USC sucks.
Amen to that, brother. USC will always suck.
Yes. Oops.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Chrissy, I'm going to tell you something. Navy was a better football team than you give them credit for. I mean, you can say it's Navy, it was Army. They played some good football.
Yeah, and also though they also had Joe John calling the fucking offense part of it too. Put Hawkins in there with a play caller that isn't putting his head in his hands half the fucking game and see how that game goes. I think you made up for it. You made up for it, brother. You made up for it. You just couldn't help yourself.
Leo, you
You
kill
had
me.
to say something stupid, huh? This is how he rolls. That's how he rolls.
Neilio, you're killing me, brother.
Wasn't he?
Oh.
Did he say anything? No, he hadn't told you. He hadn't explained that one yet.
He said, "You're a celebrity now, coach." Oh, I love
I
it.
recruit against you.
I love Neilio.
But
I don't know what the heck.
gosh.
You smoking some good shit or something,
What
dude.
does that mean?
Yeah, JT, what the hell are you talking about? You're pulling shit out of the grab bag.
What's up, Jackson? What's up, dude?
Damn.
Good to see you, man.
JT, you're pulling shit out of the baggie. You're pulling shit out of the baggie.
Hold up, let me see something.
You're getting that shit mixed up.
This just in from our studios in New York. JT is fucked up. Back to you, Jim.
Oh, I love it.
He said he just had a Biden moment.
I love it, Logan.
I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. That's funny.
That's hilarious.
And that's as far as we're going to take that conversation, by the way. But that was funny.
Yeah, it was.
144 days until week 0. Too many edibles.
Yeah,
I think he might have been. I think he might be on an edible because those will hit you different too, right? Yeah. If you're a Texas fan in here saying stupid shit, I just got this for you.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
Fuck them. Feed them fish heads. Can't believe JJF is still here. The good news is he's not really running anything. I think it's hurting their recruiting though, for sure. But I'm not trying to hate on him. Yeah. What's up there? Logan's here all night. Attaboy.
Logan.
We have 109 folks in here as we speak. We've got
20 likes.
Only 35 of those are on the channel, on the YouTube channel. So that still means that 20 of you folks have not, or 15 of you folks have not hit the like button. Hit the fucking like button.
Come on, guys.
I'm not entertained. Come on. We've had 350 views on YouTube though, so you're still short. You're still short, folks. Let's go. Help us out. Help us out. We don't ask for money. Just help us out. Hit the like button. Need to download that Triple H. I got 2 words for you. Suck it, blast. Ooh, I will. I'm gonna write that one down. Triple H sound. Okay. So do you think Notre Dame wins a natty this year, Coach?
Do I?
Yeah. Can they get it done?
I think they have the opportunity. I think they'll be one of the top teams in the country.
Okay.
I mean, I think
It might
anytime.
be the year that they could do it too, because I think where you lost people, you gain back pretty either better or because I think if you play Minchie, I think you probably win last year.
I would agree. I would agree. Guys, we need to just be able to throw the ball just a little bit last year, and I know, I know that Riley ran the ball really well, but we just never were a
You need
threat.
to be able to, in the moments that you need to complete a pass, you got to believe he can.
Right. And I just think we're gonna. I'm telling you guys, we played in it last year, and I truly believe we're going to be a better football team this year. And so, yeah, I think we have an opportunity. I think there's, again, just like there was last year, there's probably 4, 5, 6 teams that have a chance to win it all. And I think Notre Dame will be one of them. And not just
I
because
think it
I'm a
might be their
fan.
best chance. I think it might be their best chance to win one.
Yeah.
I do. Because I don't know what I think about Georgia right now. I think they're still going to be really good. I think they're going to be really good.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think we know what we have with Alabama completely. I think they're going to be really good. I think LSU, we'll see. I don't think OSU wins it. No, I don't
I don't
believe
think
it's
they do
fucking
either.
SC. Look, I think that they've got as good a shot as anyone to win it this year.
No, I agree. I agree, Jason. I really do.
Yeah. If Big Ten wins the Natty, this shit ain't happening. That will be the passing. Will that be the passing of the torch to the best conference? No. Nope.
They ain't gonna win it.
When you win fucking like 15 out of 18, then.
And Shoddy, who do you think has a chance to win it out of there?
That's what I'm saying. I think who's the best team in the Big Ten?
Ohio State?
Uh,
Ohio State, Penn State are the two better ones.
Penn State, maybe. I don't know. Without Dylan, is Dante going to be that good at Oregon? I mean, I like Dante. I think he's good.
Right.
I think it depends on what he does, though, on whether or not they're the better team. I tell you this, if Penn State's the best team in the Big Ten, they ain't winning it.
Hey, Logan, explain a little bit to me why you think that Riley Leonard should have gone to A&M. I'm kind of curious. I think he had a pretty decent year at Notre Dame.
He was okay. I don't think he was bad. I'm not saying he was bad. I think you needed him to be able to hit some pass plays, though. And
No, I agree. I'm
times,
right there
right?
with you. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
To get back here, JT hit us with that super chat. Thanks, JT.
All right.
All the crazy shit. At least you threw us a 5. I appreciate that. Y'all are crazy but enjoyable. Appreciate it. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for the super chat. Georgia will have to show me they aren't championship contenders by their play. All I have to say is Kirby shows how to coach defense. Georgia will always be contenders as long as Kirby's the head coach. I don't disagree. But I think you got to have more offense than you had last year.
Well,
and once
yeah.
Beck went out, there was. I mean, I'm not putting it on Gunnar Stockton. I just don't. Something you got to start running the ball a little better. You hadn't seen a Georgia running back get after it in a while now. I think that's the missing piece right there. I don't think it's quarterback because they've done it with lesser quarterbacks. Right? I mean, hell, they had a fucking
I think
win back to backs. Well, walk on one back to backs. So
I think they need Shoddy back.
he's got another year or two of eligibility.
Yeah, I think they need Shoddy back.
He may not have the back for it anymore. He may not have the knees for it anymore. I'm trying to goad him into coming in. I don't think he's gonna.
You trying to get him here, but he won't.
You
embarrassed to be seen
ass,
with us,
man.
Hey, Shoddy, you embarrassed to be seen with us?
Yep. Let's see. How many dudes did OSU lose? Well, they lost some key guys, is what they lost.
Yeah. Well,
They they still have most of those defenders. At least their secondary is still really, really good. Here's what I think is the biggest loss for Ohio State. Chip Kelly.
Yeah, amen, brother. Amen.
I think it's Chip.
I think Chip's a huge loss. You know,
I think it was clear that they were running whatever Ryan Day was telling him he had to fucking do against Michigan, and that shit didn't work. And Chip said, "Sit the fuck down. I got this."
Yeah, I agree.
Get over there and color your fucking beard, and let me call this shit.
Let me call the plays. We'll be good.
And he could get away with it because he was Ryan's boss before, twice. So no, the fucking guy. K-State had OSU's Fitzpatrick and backup linebacker Powers transfer into Manhattan. Both saw action in their natty game. I didn't realize that Fitzpatrick was with you guys. See, again, there's a reason why I like K-State. K-State, I think Avery is fucking really good. I think he's really good. I think that he's going to get a lot better under Matt this year. They're gonna run better plays. Look, Dylan Edwards is liable to light it up this year as a running back. I love him in that system. I think they're going to be nasty offensively, and I think the question is what do they do defensively? But I don't know that you have to be the best defense in the world to win the Big 12. You got to string together some stops here and there, though. Certainly do. Coach is going to tell you, never mind.
Hey.
Yeah. Chip and their DC. Yeah, so listen. Yes, Brian Hartline replaced Chip. Never called plays. I mean, listen, now, I think that they had to do it, though. You can't keep going. You can't keep passing over the dude that's recruiting the best receivers in the country year after year to your school. Eventually, you need to give him a shot. But I don't know that that's a good thing for them. I don't know that it's going to be good. We'll see. Because if he calls plays like Ryan Day does, then I say that you're fucked.
You're fucked, yeah. And I tell you what,
Jeremiah Smith is a bad dude, bro.
And he is a bad dude, but I'm going to tell you what. I think they lost more key players than they have key returning players. I really do.
That two-back system that you're talking about, it beats y'all. And like that, I mean, that always happens, though. We already know that. Here's the thing about Chip Kelly. He's been successful everywhere he's been as a head coach, too. You can talk all the shit you want to, but it's a fact.
And I'm not a Chip Kelly fan.
I'm not a big Chip Kelly fan either.
He wins.
I'm telling you,
but he wins.
Guy wins.
Yeah.
He's not as trash of a head coach as people act like he is. He's a winner.
Hell, he's the one that brought Oregon.
He messed up. Yeah, he took Oregon to another level.
He did.
He took Oregon to another level. They didn't get over the hump. Had he stayed there, they might have. Where did he end up taking he got an OC job that like with who was it? Who was it that gave him that OC job and all that fucking money? It was shit tons. Oh man, he killed it. Who was it? Where did he go? Trying to remember. Tell me in the chat. Where did he go? Yeah, listen. I think that you got to again, but I'm going to tell you this. Shawty asked the question: if the Big Ten wins the Natty again this year, are they now the best conference?
No.
I guess you could make the argument because it's 3 years in a row, but it's still flimsy. But here's what I'm going to tell you: if Penn State is your best team, you ain't winning the fucking Natty. I doubt Penn State's your best team. I just gotta say, the Eagles. What? That's wild. He went back to the Eagles after being the head coach there? That's fucking crazy. I didn't even know that. Oh, shit. Went to see my Wildcats take on Chip's Ducks in 2012. The speed he had on that offense was insane. Olympic quality. Yeah, look, and they run it downhill. They spread you the fuck out.
Yeah.
Those linemen, they get big-ass splits and run downhill with that speed. And when you've got a guy like Jeremiah Smith that you can't just load up that box or he will eat you alive too. Not to mention the other, they had Mbuka and all these other guys. There wasn't. If you just run the offense the way it should have been ran, he'd kick your fucking ass, period. Yeah, okay. He wants everything done his way, you're off the team. If Chip Kelly could recruit, he would be a national championship head coach. Okay.
He recruited at Oregon.
Recruited the Oregon machine was recruiting there. And it does well. I mean, the Nike machine works. We know that. The uniforms and all that, it works. This is the reason that I'm not sold on Dan Lanning yet. I think that Dan's a good coach. I don't think he's elite though.
Agreed.
I mean, okay, great. You won a Big Ten. Good for you. What else? I mean, he couldn't beat DeBoer. 0-3 against Kalen DeBoer. Hell, he was 1-2 against Oregon State. In the time that he lost to him, they didn't even have a fucking quarterback that could throw. Weird. I thought he did too. I thought he went to Vegas too. They had the best roster, and they still have it. Aside from
No doubt.
they lost those running backs, but don't think that they don't have some other ones coming back, right? They do. They guaranteed do. What's up, Rolo? Don't say light it up around ganja grower. You never know what's gonna happen. Blow it in here, bruh. He's the new OC in Vegas. That's right. Okay. I was going to say there's no way he went back to Philly. That's wild if he did. Because him and Howie Roseman did not get along by the time that was all over with. It was at the Eagles? Oh, come on. It was the Eagles back in the day. No, hold on. You guys make me go look shit up. I'm pretty sure it feels like it was Vegas. No? I'll be damned. Yep. Where is this at? Just a minute. Yes. Eagles bring back Chip Kelly. That's correct. He got a shit ton to go too. No, it's the Eagles. You guys are right. It is the Eagles. It's wild. It surprises me, bro. Wait a minute. I'm seeing two different things. 4 days ago, they're saying including return of Chip Kelly as an assistant. On February 4th, though, the Raiders named him OC. How did that happen?
I couldn't tell you. I don't keep up with NFL football.
I don't as much.
I have no clue.
Not ever since the whole Otis Taylor thing. I say fuck them. They piss me off.
I haven't been watching them for years.
He was definitely named Raider OC in February, but according to the Philadelphia Inquirer right here, Eagles officially announced several coaching hires, including return. Oh, you son of a bitch. Return of a Chip Kelly assistant. Never mind. It's a Chip Kelly assistant. Chips at Vegas. All right. He got a fuck ton of money in Vegas. I know that. What was it? Where's the money on that deal? Come on, Raiders. Damn Raiders. Hire a Chip Kelly's former assistant is why it just read stupid. Assholes. I just wanted to see that number again, that the salary. It's fucking insanity. And Chip and Pete, and he's working with Pete too, which is they hired an old ass Pete Carroll.
Wow.
Yeah. It might not be a terrible hire though on behalf of them. You know what I mean? Can't be worse than what they've had. Well, it is April 1st, Jason. No, but it's the way it read. It was a Chip Kelly assistant got hired to be the OC. Which still, yeah, it was just a weird deal. I'm nearly sober, but I think Georgia will have a good team. So please question our new quarterback. Oh, I think they're going to be all right. I think they're going to be fine. I don't think he was the problem last year. I don't think they really had a problem last year. They still won the fucking SEC. I mean, they did. Couldn't be.
I think you alluded to it earlier. They didn't run the ball like Georgia football.
They haven't run the ball like Georgia in a while though, and they didn't have a Brock Bowers or anybody like that around last year either.
No.
So, I think that the places that you want to see, if you're a Georgia fan and you want to see them back to where they need to be, they're going to be good on defense. They're always going to be good on defense. You better find a way to put points on the board against some of these teams that are going to score. And I think Shawty would tell you that their D-line, I think it was okay. They didn't have a real world beater up there, though. Or a few of them like they normally do. They're getting the running backs like they used to, or aren't? Is that what you're saying there? Oh, Professor? Gunner's the new quarterback. Yeah, we know. Yeah, that's what they get for hiring. It's because they hired Scott McDaniels. Clown. Georgia football team is starring in the newest Fast and Furious movie, Jason. I hear. That's what I've been hearing. Texas has been doing pretty good with running backs for sure. They aren't. Yeah, I saw that now. Okay, I got you. Yeah, listen, I don't know. They're the kid that they had. Now they had a good running back last year, the freshman, and ETN did all right at times, but they just haven't. They haven't had that dude that could take over a game though, and break it from wherever.
Yeah,
like Jeremiah Love.
Where's he play?
That motherfucker can score from anywhere. Holy shit!
Well,
he's
all the ifs and all the nuts and everything else. If he would have been healthy, through the playoff
They'd
run.
have fucking gave him the ball in the championship game. It might have helped.
Yeah, he was hurt.
I don't know, man. He did. Yeah, I
He
guess.
was.
I know he was hurt. He'd been hurt. He'd been hurt since the start of the playoffs.
Yeah, the start of the playoff. That's what I'm saying. Had he been healthy through the playoffs, we might have seen it. We might have seen a different national champion.
Yep. That's why I feel like they've got a shot this year. I think they got as good a shot as anybody.
Yeah.
They're going to be a complete football team, just like they've been. They build from the inside out, man. You know what I mean?
And I tell you what, we're recruiting well too. We're having young guys come in and be able
Right
to
now,
play.
I think On Three had them right now around 13th, and that's not even with. They've only got 7 recruits that have committed so far, right?
Yeah, we've
You've
changed
got
our
SC
philosophy
over here
there,
pounding
Jason.
their chest because they've got 18 fucking recruits, and they're at number 2.
Well, that's what we've done in the past.
Right.
And we've changed that philosophy because we've had, 24 at this time already committed, but hell, you lose them all to Oklahoma and other places, to Auburn, and so now I think we've kind of flipped that script,
Right.
and yeah, so I think we'll be fine.
So right now
We're
they're showing
recruiting.
LSU at number 1 on 3. Now this is just the team rankings, but they've got
Right.
9 recruits. SC coming in at number 2. They don't have any 5 stars. They've got 11 4s and 6 3s. But again, you got to hold those classes. Oregon, right? I mean, Oregon's got 8 guys that are committed. 8. That's the average is like 8 or 9. Alabama's only got 4. Oklahoma's only got 4. Texas has only got 4. Notre Dame's only got 7. Florida's only got 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're talking about, it is what it is, but the real recruiting season gets started soon. And again, you were talking about this a few minutes ago. I think we can close out the show with this. When you start talking about where these guys are at and what college football is becoming, if you're not headed to a pro model that, we were talking this past week about they didn't end up getting Jonathan Hatton at Oklahoma, right? Big time running back, cost a shit ton of money. He was at one point committed to OU. He decommitted a few months back. It looked like he was coming back around to Oklahoma, and then A&M they offered triple. They offered triple apparently.
Right.
They weren't going to do that shit. Nagy's, and if you're on an NFL model, you know that there's different things you can do to get your running game going. Not that they have a problem in the room there. There's studs in the running back room at Oklahoma.
Right.
They just got to get them going. He wasn't going to overpay there. The other thing, I mean, look, Jones, he's a legacy kid. They were off of him a month ago, apparently, because Okie Light came in with some astronomical $500,000 number or whatever. So did Kansas, and they were off of it, even though they love his dad and he was a great Sooner. You have to play the game that way, and I think that the biggest thing that I think you may see some of these recruiting rankings. It's possible that you could see them dip in the recruiting rankings and still not be bad, because they don't. I know Jim Nagy doesn't give a flying fuck about On 3, 247 or Rivals recruit rankings. He's gonna trust his evaluation of a player,
As they should.
Listen, if you look at the rankings, these player rankings, that accounts for about 1,000 players probably. I guarantee you, people aren't looking past 1,000, right? What about the other fucking 10,000 kids out there in America that play high school football? Sometimes they don't get found, but it's not because they're not good. It's because they live in a rural area that, number one, doesn't have a content team such as, 247 and all those teams that are good. And don't get it twisted. A lot of those damn rankings come from, we'll get you a higher ranking if you give us a story, if you come to our camps and give us money. It's all money based. And that has a lot to do with it, man. Don't get it twisted.
How many 5-stars do you see that come in to college football and piss down their leg? How many 3-stars do you see that come into college football and far exceed expectations? Guys, again, you're exactly right, Jason. We talk about this all the time. You got guys that are putting stars on players that have never even donned a jockstrap in their friggin' lives. And they're the ones we're actually asking to rate these guys. Come
Well,
on,
and the truth
man.
is there's no way they could see them all anyway. First off, you would have to get out of the office and go watch games, and they're not going to do that.
And most of these guys don't even leave the office.
They're not going to do that. They go, if they do, they go to one of their satellite camps or fucking combines or whatever the fuck they do. Or because they give them a story and they're already known. There's only 32 5-stars to begin with. If you put all the top 4 recruiting services together, there might be 45 to 50 of them, because you're going to have some that are 5s and some that are 4s, depending on which one we're talking about, right? But we're talking about 50 guys at the most. And here's the deal. I could just tell you that if you look at Michael Fasusi, number 1 offensive tackle in the country, well, by as far as on 3 was concerned, he was number 1. Or maybe it was 247. I don't even remember. He wasn't number 1 in all of them. He dominated at these all-star games at the end of the year. Okay. They got him. Oklahoma got him. Then they went and got a guy named Ryan Foji, who was ranked in the 600s whenever Bill Bedenbaugh offered him. He ends up in the top 150. Same size. In fact, I think he's a little taller and a little heavier and just as mammothly and, quick. And, he's going to be an unbelievable player. He was ranked in the 600s. If not for Bill Bedenbaugh finding him, and he was in Houston, by the way, does he even get an offer? OU was his first offer. These guys go unfucking tapped a lot. Darian, we talk about Darian all the time, and I hate it. It drives me crazy that he didn't play somewhere. He slipped through the cracks, folks. Slipped through the cracks, and he was that dude.
Yep. Professor, I agree with everything you're saying there.
Who's that? I've heard from a player, a Florida running back, that dropped 70 spots because he said, I'm going to Florida and I'm not taking it. Hey, okay.
That happens all the time.
So Dent's son, Isaiah, he commits to Oklahoma before the season starts at his high school his last year. He's a firm 4-star at that point. They wanted him to continue taking these visits and going to these camps. He said no. They were done with it. And they dropped him way into the 3s. And he ended up being like right on the edge of a 3 and a 4-star. Again, same size as Michael Fasusi. In fact, he's a 2 inches taller. And so he's 6'7". He's at 320 now. 3-star guy.
Well, and
he dominated the Miss Al game, the Mississippi Alabama All-Star game. Never lost a fucking rep the whole week.
Well, and we've said this a million times on this podcast, guys. My 9-year-old grandson, he can tell you if a guy's a 5-star. Come on, you know a 5-star when you see a 5-star, and you know a 4-star when you see a 4-star.
Yeah.
And so I've never been a guy that buys into the star bullshit because of the people that are giving me those stars.
Yeah.
And the camps, all the bullshit. And just like Professor said, and we've had it happen at Notre Dame. You have a kid that says, well, I'm going to Notre Dame, I'm done. Shit, they drop. And you kind
last few years at Florida, they had a running back that he was committed to Georgia, decommitted, and to go to Florida, dropped like 200 spots. Then he decommits from Florida, goes back to Georgia, and he's back to a top 100 kid. That was last year, 2 years ago, whatever. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. The reason that it was weird, they weren't even fucking doing any camps or anything at that time. There's nothing nothing that
Yeah,
is evaluation.
nothing's happening. Yeah. No evaluation at all, and you drop.
No games are happening. None of that shit.
Yeah.
He didn't get an injury or nothing.
You just drop.
Yeah, he switched. Again, I mean, Nigel Smith, we talk about Nigel Smith a lot. He ended up being a top 200 guy. Larry Johnson had offered him for 2 years at Ohio State. Had he committed to Larry Johnson, he's a 5-star, without a doubt. I think the same thing happens with Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline gets good receivers, don't get me wrong. But not all of them are that good. They've had guys leaving the portal because they kick them out of there.
Yeah.
There's 2,000 kids who enter the portal and have nowhere to go. Actually, it's gotten much better this year in the portal than we've seen it in the past. I read something on 3 earlier. I'll have to look it back up, but there was a large number of guys that went from. Well, they have a ranking right now on 3. Let me find this real quick.
But you know what? You say there's 200 or 2,000 kids who entered the portal, have nowhere to go. But at the end of the day, guys, you got to know as a player,
anyways, man. That happens.
You got to know if you go in the portal, there's a chance you might not even have another team to play for.
And I'll tell you, most people are telling those kids that are like Division II kids and saying, "I'm going to go get in the portal and go play D1." No, you're not.
No.
You're not a D1 kid. There's a reason why you're here. A 6'2" offensive lineman, offensive tackle, even if he's 350, ain't going to make it in Division I.
Nope.
He's just not. Doesn't matter if he's better than him in high school. That shit doesn't matter.
Hey, Jace, I'm gonna have to get out of here, brother.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I was saying we're fixing to get out anyway soon. We're right at that 2-hour mark, so we're gonna get. Coach, I appreciate you coming in, my man. It's always
absolutely
fun. Always fun. We get to talk some shit and all that.
It's always good. I love it. I love all the people that come in, and I know they're all wiping their feet for us. But I love you guys, and Jason, I love you, and thank you for the opportunity to get to do this every week. I just love
you're the popular one on the show. You're the reason he stays going, bro.
No. But anyway, appreciate it. Love you guys.
Love you
y'all have a great rest of the week. Love y'all.
Appreciate you, man. Talk to you later.
Okay. Later.
Coach Roy Ball, arm guy. Yeah, listen, I am gonna get out of here too in just a second. So we'll keep it going for a couple minutes. Yeah, I was trying to find that story. They have John Mateer ranked as the best group of 5 transfer in the country. I don't know that as far as going from group of 5 to power, whatever. So they had him ranked there. They a couple of days ago, we were talking about it on the morning show. They have 2 Sooners in the top 10 guys coming from FCS programs playing in Power 5 programs. Giovanni Gibson at number 3, and then Simmons, the right tackle, also for Oklahoma. So 2 guys in the top 10. Say what you want. These are guys that are expected to do well at this next level. So it's good stuff. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. 2 hours, am I turning into a wimp? I mean, it's not the wimp side. It's not that I'm a wimp and shit. Oh, maybe I am. I don't fucking know. But the problem is that shit, man. I'm so behind on like editing all this stuff and like making extra content and shit. I'm so behind on it. I don't think I'm ever going to get caught up. So it's just more stuff that people it would help if I did get this edited down and have some of these good moments where, like, when I'm telling the truth to Chrissy or something, and you know what I mean? Coach is the only reason I watch. I knew it. See, that's what I mean. That's mostly the truth. Well, my good Lord above bless each. Hey, same to you there, Nelio. Be safe out there. I hope everything's okay. Did I miss a super chat from you? I may have. Let me make sure before I split on it. Yes, sir. Indeed. Thank you for the 5. Appreciate it. He said, good Tuesday evening, everyone. Jason and Coach Roybal. Thank you, Nelio, for the super chat through Venmo. We appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for coming in no matter what. And, we don't ask for super chats. It's the best way to do it is to go through Cash App or Venmo if you're going to, but we'll take them any way you give them. The main thing, the free way to really support the program, if you want to see us succeed and continue putting out this content, just make sure that you hit that like button. So important. I think we're starting to see some more views than what we've seen in a while. But it's and I think obviously it's starting to crank back up. This is talking season. There's some list stuff. Look, do me a favor. Jump in there, even if it's after the video. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this, go into the comment section, and if there's something that you'd like to see us kind of feature, a certain segment or something like that, something you want us to talk about, we love to hear stuff like that. You can always do that into our email. I was thinking about doing an email answering thing, although it could be dangerous if it's anything like what happened to Coach Ricks, but we'll go from there. But I'm going to put JW at hofmedia.us. That's my email there. You can always, Sark is sitting pretty, let's be honest, he's the best coach it's like saying it's whatever. It's like have the only 2-legged guy in an ass kicking contest. You know what I mean? Whatever. He ain't that good. But I appreciate it. Best content in the business, Boomer Sooner. Thank you, Logan. Appreciate that, my guy. Yeah. Hey, man, we appreciate everybody, too. Really, you guys are the reason we do this all the time is because of you. But to keep it going, it would help. We want to keep growing with you. But anything you'd like to see, certain, hey, look, if there's a certain just subject you want to talk about, let's do it. Make sure you hit me up right there on the email. And we'll definitely go from there. And look, we could do a question and answer kind of thing once a week. Maybe we'll do that it could be on any show. We'll figure it out, but let's, just start filling up the emails. Check it out. Jump in there and check out some of our pod merch. It's hofmedia.us/pod-merch, hofmedia.us/pod-merch. The MyBookie deal, they're giving away, actually, I think it's 50% upfront bonus on your matching stuff. I'm gonna have to check through it, but get in there and check it out through MyBookie. You're gonna start getting into. There's still some betting going on. Some cool. They've got a lot of really cool prop bets and stuff like that for the Final Four. So the playoffs are coming up in the NBA as well. For you junkies and baseball junkies, you can play it a lot of different ways. Having been in Vegas, I know those guys that love to do that shit. So lots of gambling still going on. Make sure you get in there and check that out on MyBookie. And then, of course, you can always go to trymintmobile.com. If you want to save a ton of money on your wireless, you should. It's $30 a month after the trial period, but you get your first 3 months at $45. Unlimited talk, text, and data. It's a great deal. Appreciate everybody coming in, though. And we will see you all on the next one.